It is week 13 in year 3 of the Raiders franchise, and we have one of our biggest tests of this season as we are at home taking on the Dallas Cowboys, and the AFC West picture is heating up as the Chargers have stormed back to a 6-6 record, the Broncos sitting at 7-5, and us sitting at 8-4. And the Chiefs, who are on a bye week, sitting at 9-2. We have our bye next week, and we are taking on the number 1 seed in the NFC in the Cowboys. This is a massive test for us, and with a tight AFC West race and a tight race just in general, as only a game and a half separate the 7 seed from the 1 seed, it is a massive game for us to see just how good we are. Are we a contending team? Are we maybe not ready yet? We will see. It is Cowboys and Raiders up next. The game will start with Dak Prescott and the offense onto the field, and Dak coming off a 4-touchdown game last week as the Cowboys picked up yet another victory. Dak 23 touchdowns, 2 picks on the season, and in that MVP race, the Cowboys will take the field on first down. Running back Tristan June is in the backfield as he has overtaken the majority of the carries from Tony Pollard, as June will have a negative 1 yard carry to start the drive. And we have Dak throwing over the middle to CD Lamb, and Ellis Travis was all over it, swatted it down. Third down, Prescott to throw, and he's got it to Schoonmaker for the first down. And that's a big third down conversion as Tristan June takes the carry and breaks a tackle, and Tristan June in the open field making a man miss, and June first down past the 40-yard line into Raider territory as June third carry, and this time not as much, only 2 yards. Second down and 8, handoff back to June again, jumping over a man on the ground, sets it up at 3rd and 4 as Dak under center will throw outside, and he missed CD Lamb, and it will be a field goal try, and the Cowboys, they got a quick 3-0 lead as Deshaun and the offense takes the field, and they go run play. Josh Jacobs gets blown up, and that was by DeMarcus Lawrence as Deshaun will throw his first pass of the game. It is caught by DeAndre Hopkins, and it'll be 3rd and 8. Deshaun dropping back, throws, and it's just straight up dropped by Jonnu Smith. And Smith, who's been filling in for the injured Michael Mayer, just with an awful drop there as the punt is away. Cowboys fumble it, and it's picked up. That was Stanley Camper forcing the fumble, and Ellis Travis picks it up, and the Raiders are set up in great field position. What a start for this game as the special teams come up big as you see the numbers without Josh Jacobs. Yes, we have averaged 50 less yards on the ground, but points identical, record identical, and it really makes you wonder how valuable Josh Jacobs has become to this team. His value not nearly as high as it once was, and there is Justin Perez on 3rd down with the conversion into the red zone. We go handoff Jacobs, and Jacobs will break a tackle, get to the outside, 7 yards, 2nd down and 3. Deshaun to the air, and he will throw end zone, and that's in coverage, incomplete. Could have gotten picked off, but he got bailed out there. 3rd down, Deshaun will stay on the ground, cut it inside. It's 4th and 1, and we are going for it. Deshaun, inverted veer inside. Deshaun fighting ahead for the first down. He's got it, 1st and goal, 5-yard line. Jacobs cuts it inside at the 1-yard line, so close. And Jacobs wants to finish this drive in the end zone. Josh Jacobs will do just that. Touchdown, Raiders. And Josh Jacobs, welcome back to the Raiders. And he gets the first touchdown of the game. And he still does provide a lot more value than Peralta and Venable. So we are happy to have him back as the drive starts for the Cowboys with a CD Lamb 8-yard catch, and they hand off Tony Pollard, who cuts it inside, and Pollard gets stood up. 3rd down and 1. June back in the backfield as Dak will throw outside. There is Schoonmaker with the catch and first down. Schoonmaker has emerged as the number 1 tight end here in Dallas, the former 2nd-round pick, as Dak gets sacked. And that's Stanley Camper who made the big play on special teams. And now Dak play action rollout, dumps it up underneath to the fullback. And nowhere to go for him as Jeremy Chin brings him down. It is 3rd and 20. Dak to the air. He's got to go a long way. And Dak, he'll just run left and just throw it out of bounds. Nowhere to go. And great defense holding up there as we get the football back. And Josh Jacobs of a 3-yard carry And Jacobs, we want to get him involved quite a lot as he's back from injury, as DeShong on the read option will try to spin outside, and he'll only get 3 yards. It is 3rd down and 4. DeShong will run up the middle, try to fight ahead. He gets past the line of scrimmage, but that's about it. It is a punt as 3 and out for the Raiders. Cowboys back on the field. Short drop for Dak, and he got his man Michael Gallup on the slant route to the 38-yard line. First down. Tristan June in the backfield. They quick throw, slant again, and this time CeeDee Lamb shows those inconsistent hands as it is 2nd and 10. Dak to the air, clean pocket, and he's got Tristan June all alone in the middle of the field. That's going to be a first down past midfield. And the Cowboys back in scoring position as they throw outside. CeeDee Lamb with the catch, but he has to come back for the ball, and he only gets a yard on that one. Poor throw from Dak. 2nd down and 9, clean pocket once again. This time he fires it over the middle for the first down, and Dak is getting a clean pocket early and often in this game. Another one as he throws quick outside, and Gallup has the catch for 4 yards. Now spreading the field 5 wide. Dak to the air, will throw, and that's going to be caught. Broken tackle, and now at the 11-yard line, we got to get some pressure here as it has been too much clean pockets as he gets another one, and he missed CeeDee Lamb in the end zone. And now Dak's got to come back here on 2nd and 10 after that miss, and he's going to go to the end zone, and this time he's got CeeDee Lamb. He wasn't going to miss him twice. That's a touchdown. Cowboys 10-7 in their favor, as now Josh Jacobs will take the carry, and Garrett Bowles is down, and that does not fare good for us, as Michael Parsons is probably excited at that news, as DeShong will run, breaks a tackle, and gets brought down by Vander Esch. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. DeShong to the air, will throw underneath, and that's Shanny, and that's going to be just enough for the first down. Maybe a generous spot, but we will take it. Quick throw now, and DeAndre Hopkins has it for 8 yards. 2nd and 2, 5 minutes to go, as we got plenty of time to try to get some points on the board before half, as it's going to be a first down carry for Jacobs. Nearing midfield as DeShong will drop to throw from under center, and DeShong will just fire one over the head of Shanny. And Shanny had a little bit of separation, but couldn't get the pass that he would like, as DeShong will throw outside. This time he's got Shanny, and Kalen Shanny turns upfield, and he gets a 20-plus yard play. And it is to the 32-yard line. Handoff. Jacobs. Nice hole opened up for him, and he gets 7 yards. 2nd down and 3. DeShong to the air underneath, and he has Jacobs setting up 3rd and 1. And I think DeShong's played a very solid first half so far, as we hand it off to Josh Moss. A rare Josh Moss carry, but he is our short yardage back, and he has the first down. Play action now as DeShong will run up, and he bailed on that pass immediately. And now John Runyon's injured. That's 2 offensive linemen down for us. And that's going to be a really bad situation as Micah Parsons immediately comes screaming in. And it's 3rd and 13 now. Play action. We set up the screen for Jonnu Smith. And we are content taking the field goal as we have some real injury troubles. And no Garrett Bowles, no John Runyon. The entire right side of the offensive line is out. And Micah Parsons is just going to be allowed to feast if we can't get some help out there. And now Dak to start the drive. He's got a 2-minute drill, 10-10 game, as it has been a good one between these two teams, as Dak will miss Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. Costly miss from Dak, as now 3rd down. He's got to redeem himself, and he does. Shoemaker has the first down. And with a minute to go, the Cowboys are not moving particularly fast as of right now. But Dak, if he gets a big play right here like he does, they're going to move a whole lot faster, especially when Tyree Wilson gives them a timeout because he's injured too. As Shoemaker underneath. Now that's 3 significant injuries in this game. 55 seconds to play. Dak underneath. It's incomplete. 3rd down and 1. Now we got June in the backfield, Dak to throw, and he's going to test it, and he's got the completion on J.C. Horn. Michael Gallup, but it was a great throw as Dak now in the red zone has his man, and it's caught down to the 1-yard line. 20 seconds to play. Toss out Tony Pollard. They can afford to run the ball. They have a timeout. They do not opt to use it until 10 seconds to play. They got a throw here, and it's caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Cedric Wilson, who came back from Miami to Dallas, and he has a touchdown to put the Cowboys up 17-10 at the halftime. And while the run defense has played very well, pass defense has not. We have not gotten pressure on Dak, and it's not going to get any better with Tyree Wilson banged up. And on the offensive side of the ball, I feel like we played pretty decently, but 2 of our offensive linemen are hurt. No Michael Mayer. And Jacobs is fresh off an injury, so it's going to be a rough second half as this banged up Raiders team tries to keep pace with the #1 seed in the NFC. It is Raiders and Cowboys in the second half coming up next. Raiders ball to start the second half as we are down by 7, and Josh Jacobs takes the first carry and cuts it upfield, and he has himself 8 yards. And then I start to the second half as we go to pop past Jaden Sharu, who has not gotten all that involved this game, as Sharu will get the first down just barely, and Deshaun under center. Play action, Deshaun to the air, a lot of time, floats one up top, and it's incomplete. Almost falls into the hands of Hopkins, and that's going to be a chaotic first down play as we set up the screen on second down. Jacobs kind of outran his blockers there, and he's only going to get 2 yards. It is third down and 8 as Deshaun to throw once more. Pressure in his face, and it's a fumble. Micah Parsons got in there. Jacobs picks it up, and it's going to be a stop. The injuries to the right side of the line really showing as Dak and the Cowboys take over, taking the shot deep, out of bounds. The ball goes. Second down and 10 as the Cowboys were set up in good field position at the 39-yard line, and Dak underneath has Cedric Wilson for an 8-yard gain. Third down and 2, Pollard in the backfield, and Dak quick throw, CeeDee Lamb first down to the 45, and Dak under center will throw once again. Quick ball, and it's tipped and almost intercepted. Camper could have snagged that. Instead, it's going to be second and 10. Dak underneath, and there's a catch for Tony Pollard lined up out wide, and it is third down once again. Can we get off the field? Dak to the air, and that's going to be a pass broken up. And they are going to try the long field goal kick, and the kick is no good. They went from 58 yards, and they missed. And now the Cowboys give the Raiders incredible field position as Jacobs will get no gain on this play. And now Deshaun play action roll out, and he's sacked. Micah Parsons gets in there again, and it's third and 22. Parsons now getting double teamed off the edge, and he's still going to get in. Deshaun rolling, he's just going to flip the ball and basically give it up. And it's going to be a punt, and we cannot capitalize on the great field position as Parsons wrecked the drive, and Cedric Wilson got open on first down and gives them a new set of downs past midfield, and they're right back where they were just about. Eric Armstead now gets injured on that play, and we are just thinning out on this team as Dak on the run, caught by Michael Gallup to the 22-yard line. Spreading the field is Dak. He's going to throw end zone, and broken up for Cedric Wilson, and that was a nice play from Jimmy Ward to break things up, and now Gallup out of bounds, first down, and they are at the 12-yard line. Third quarter, just 3 minutes to play. They throw underneath Schoonmaker to the end zone, and he's brought down at the 1-yard line. Prescott, though, will stay in the air, and it's almost caught for the touchdown by CeeDee Lamb, but it's broken up. Now they go under center, handoff, Tony Pollard, touchdown, Cowboys. And it's going to be a 2-score lead, and the injuries for the Raiders keep piling up, and it is a 2-score deficit as the Cowboys defense takes the field once again. Sharu will have the first down catch for 5 yards, and Deshaun has to go to the air, and it's going to be a miss for Jacobs. Third down and 5 now. Deshaun throws underneath, and the defender maybe hit the receiver a little quickly. We're going for it on fourth down, all the way backed up, and we have a man deep. Sharu incomplete, and a super risky call. We go for it at our own 30, and it's not going to pay off. This is a call we have made before this season that has paid off. This time it backfires tremendously, and the Cowboys are in the red zone already. And there's going to be a lot of questions as to why we made that call, but we have not wavered from our aggression as the Cowboys throw end zone, touchdown, Shoemaker, and it's going to be all of a sudden 31-10 deficit for the Raiders. Last few plays of the third quarter as Deshaun will roll and throw, caught by Jacobs. He's going to get 3 yards. Fourth quarter now underway as we have a big lead to try to overcome, as it's going to be third down and inches. Deshaun to the air. He will throw deep, and it's going to almost be intercepted. It's fourth and inches now. We're just going to play it a little safer here. Handoff Jacobs. He breaks the tackle, but not two, and the Raiders turn it over again. We tried to run off that right side, and there was no blocking there, as there's no blocking on the right side for the Cowboys on this play, as Max Crosby blows it up, and the Cowboys still throwing here with 10 minutes to play, up by 3 scores. Gallup will get close to the first down. They will hand it to June and fake it, actually. Dak on the keeper. Little surprise there, but we were ready for it, and the Cowboys will kick a field goal, so it is still technically a 3-score game, but if we don't score a touchdown on this drive, it might be all over, as Deshaun will miss a target there. Jonnu Smith had some separation, and it's been getting a little rough as the Cowboys pressure. This time it's on the left side. DeMarcus Lawrence with the sack. Desperation time, 3rd and 20, incomplete, and it is going to be Cowboy football in this one. Very close to being all wrapped up, as the Cowboys are really making their statement here, as Tristan June is having some really great carries now, and they will go back to June once more. This time we are able to stop him in the backfield, no gain. And it's just rough. I mean, a lot of people are going to question why we went for it on that 4th down, but I think from our perspective, we had already sustained a number of major injuries, and I think, I'd rather not give it to a Cowboys offense that has been hard to stop with a team that's already really banged up, and we've made a call like that before this season. It's worked out. This is the first time this year where it's severely backfired on us, as Dak gets sacked there, and the field goal unit will come out again. But I felt like our odds of making a comeback, it really hinged on that play, and if we just punted it away, I can't guarantee that we'd be in that much better of a situation. So I wanted to really go for the victory, but didn't go our way, and unfortunately now we sit down here at a 27-point deficit, as there's a nice play to Sharu, and Deshaun, one of his best throws of the day, as he will throw once again in a miscommunication with DeAndre Hopkins. He ran out, Deshaun threw in, and it's incomplete. 3 minutes to play as Deshaun gets sacked, and that's another one for the Cowboys. It's the second half. The floodgates have opened on the pass rush as we go underneath to Jonnu Smith, and it will be 4th down and 3. Do we have a conversion in us? And DeAndre Hopkins, yes we do, and we are at the 21-yard line. Can we maybe get a touchdown just for some confidence, maybe, as Deshaun will throw underneath Josh Jacobs. 1st down and more inside the 10-yard line. Goal to go for the Raiders, as Deshaun will roll left. Deshaun going to run it, and he's going to throw it away. Hit as he was thrown. 2nd down and goal. Deshaun, quick pass, caught Hopkins. Touchdown Raiders. But that will only serve to make this game look not so bad, but this second half was thoroughly dominated by the Cowboys, as the 2-point conversion is no good, and with under 2 to go, the Cowboys took the ball, ran the clock out, and the number 1 seed Cowboys marched into our home and prove exactly why they are the number 1 seeded Cowboys, as the Raiders fall to 8-5 on the season. And this was a rough one. The injuries really piled up, and we were just outmatched on this day, and not much we could really do. Only 100 yards of passing for our offense, as the sacks piled up. The right side of the offensive line falling apart and allowing Michael Parsons to wreck us. Hurt. We were not able to establish the run game, and Josh Jacobs' first game back. And once again, tight ends were a problem for us. But tough loss, but not a game we were exactly favored to win. So I can't be too mad. I would have just liked this to look a little bit better. But to move things on, let's get into college football update, as we have closed out the regular season in the world of college football. This is your college football update, and the regular season has come to an end here. And as you can see at the top of the polls, we didn't have an absolute disaster like we had the last couple updates, as the number 1 and number 2 teams do hold strong. Ohio State in the big game against Michigan hands Michigan their 2nd straight loss, and Michigan, who was at the very top not too long ago, finds themselves at 10-2, all the way down at number 8. Ohio State retains the number 1 spot, and Texas retains the number 2 spot after a win over Iowa State. At number 3, Georgia, as they will head to the SEC Championship, and in the big UCLA-USC rivalry game, USC, the former champs, defending champs, picked up the victory, and UCLA has knocked out the top 4. Obviously, a lot can change, as we still have have conference championship weekend. Florida State picked up a victory. Michigan, obviously, we talked about moving down to 8. Northern Illinois and Clemson stay strong. TCU goes down a spot, and Nebraska, LSU jump up. Oregon goes down as in the Civil War against Oregon State. Oregon State did pick up the upset victory to take out their rivals and end their potential hopes of a big-time game, maybe, as they will be heading to the conference championship. But they're taking on USC, as Oregon does hold the tiebreaker as they beat USC. So despite them being at 15 and UCLA being at 5, Oregon's tiebreaker puts them in the conference championship, as the rest of the conference championships are as follows. Florida State will get their shot back at Clemson as 2 11-1 schools fight to see if they can get a chance at the college football playoffs. Texas will take on TCU, as TCU is trying to get back to a college football playoff. And we have Ohio State versus a surprising Nebraska team, as Nebraska has stormed all the way up to number 12 and stole the other division, as Ohio State will have their hands full, one of the hotter teams in all of college football. And in the SEC championship, we will have Georgia and LSU. But that's it for the regular season. But I want to talk about some of these players because we have a fun group of players to talk about. So let's get into that right now. For those of you that have kind of paid attention to the Heisman candidacy, you may have seen this guy, Trenton Power, quarterback from Georgia, has been kind of putting up crazy video game-like numbers in the running game for a quarterback, but as an NFL prospect, he does not exactly project to be an amazing player. He is a 6'4", 244-pound tank of a QB. But other than that, I mean, he's an odd player to grade out because he is one of those players that is really fun to watch in college, really entertaining, really physical, really dominant at times. But as an NFL player, I mean, we could start with the weaknesses. He lacks even average accuracy. He could not make great NFL level throws. He was heavily protected in Georgia's stacked offense. I mean, Georgia always has one of the most talented teams in all the nation. They just couldn't get themselves a true quarterback that they wanted. So instead of going out there and try to force a quarterback to play well in their system, they built a system around the guys that they had. They had Trenton Power. They decided, you know what, we're going to be a ground and pound football team. And it's worked for them as they find themselves in the potential to have a college football playoff spot. And I think just in general, he has no potential to really be a starting level quarterback as a passer. I just think if you're starting Trenton Power as a quarterback in the NFL, I don't know what you're really expecting him as a passer. Now, I could be wrong and he could develop an insane amount and he could turn this into, a crazy statement. He could become a great quarterback, but I just don't see it happening. But I know you're looking at it, it's like, why are we talking about this guy then? He's a mid-day 3 prospect and he's just not a useful quarterback. Well, it's a really interesting player because he's an incredible short yardage runner. I mean, he had 18 touchdowns and over 1,200 rushing yards last year, and he's already topped those numbers this year on his way to being a Heisman finalist. It's a strong arm. I mean, while he doesn't have incredible accuracy, he can get that ball down the field 50, 60 plus yards. He has an incredibly powerful arm, and he's a great athlete. And I think, I put his comparison as to Tim Tebow because of what Tebow did in college. Now, he wasn't obviously as electrifying, and he didn't take home the national title like Tebow did, but, he still has a chance to do so. Not quite as, historically significant in the world of college football as Tebow, but maybe he can go on a little Tebow-like run like he did in Denver. Maybe a more accurate comparison for him as he translates to the NFL as just a player overall is a Taysom Hill-like player. As see what the Saints have done with him. Taysom Hill does have the ability to throw a football down the field occasionally, is a short yardage back. He can catch the ball. I don't know what Trenton Power can do as a receiver, but that's why he has the athleticism to potentially translate into a player who can play tight end or fullback or wildcat quarterback. He has versatility, but I don't know where teams are going to be looking at him. Obviously, they're not going to be teams that want that level of creativity in their offense. They don't really care to have that, and traditionally as a backup quarterback, he is not the typical clipboard holder, reliable, safe with the football guy that you want as a backup. So he's a bit of an anomaly in the NFL, like how Taysom Hill is. So maybe that's a bit more accurate comparison for him, but I think he's going to be a fun player, and if he wants to switch to tight end and develop there, he has potential there, and I think that's where his potential grade of a B comes in. I think he can be a solid tight end. I don't know where he's going to end up, though, and where he's going to play and what he's going to do, so it's really just about who drafts him and where they want to use him, but we'll see, because he is a big mystery in this class of what he's going to be. He could be absolutely nothing for all we know, or he can be a fun little player. As we move along to the second to last player we have on the season, it is linebacker out of LSU, Amos Brockers. And this is the third linebacker we are talking about to go along with Michael Poe and Martin McPeak, as this is a pretty nice linebacker class. This is a class that won't have, I think, top tier, top 10, top 15, but like late first, early to mid second, you're going to have some really nice linebackers in this class, and this is another one of them. As we just focus on Brockers, though, I think when you look at him, scouts will tell you that he's very experienced. I mean, the 4 years as a starter will tell you that, and his production will tell you that, and the fact that he has played in just about any defense he have been able to cook up in both high school and in college. In high school, he ran one kind of defense, and he came to LSU from a freshman, sophomore. He was focusing a bit more as his pass coverage skills, but once the defensive coordinator shifted, they really decided to say, hey, you're not as good of a pass coverage guy as we'd like you to be. You're only just solid. He's not an amazing athlete. They wanted to utilize his pass rushing skills and really keep him closer to the line of scrimmage, and that really helped his draft stock a lot. I feel like that's jumps him in here to a potential round 2 pick. And as you can see, he put up 4.5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss last year. It's going to somewhat equal those numbers, maybe exceed them this year, as he has been pretty good as a pass rushing linebacker in LSU's blitz heavy scheme. So I think for our Raiders, if you want to talk about them, he fits pretty well, as we love to blitz our inside linebackers, but he can fit into a lot of different defenses and he can make an impact as a pass rusher. I don't think you're ever going to put him on the edge, but I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing you could do. But a lot of people won't like him because he runs a 4.6-ish. I think that his speed is definitely a limiting factor, as you do not want him in coverage over the great tight ends and the elite athlete tight ends in the NFL. So he's definitely going to not be like one of those inside linebackers who can just kind of play there by himself. He's going to need someone right next to him to take off some of the pressure in coverage and allow him to just tee off and blitz if you want him to. And circling back to his experience, I talked about as a freshman and a sophomore, he really focused on his coverage abilities, and that's because he didn't originally go to LSU, and that was because he had committed to Arkansas, and he just did not really work out there in a system that was heavy in coverage. And he moved to LSU, and that's when the defensive coordinator shift in his career came. And when they had to utilize him more to his strengths, he was able to succeed. But some people look at him, potential 24-year-old linebacker, and a guy who's transferred and has been a little older and isn't as athletic. It's why he's down further here. If he were, just a 3 or 4 year player who was a bit more athletic, he's a certified first round slam dunk player, but unfortunately he is not. It kind of limits his upside a little bit, but I think he'll come in and be a pretty solid player off the bat, and I think that is it for Amos Brockers. I really wanted to come out here and potentially save the best player for last on this season, as we will be talking about running back Renza Odernot out of Texas, and it immediately will jump out to you when you watch him. He's about as close to a Christian McCaffrey clone as it gets. And that's his NFL comparison. That's his biggest strength. He's a big play hitter in both the rush and receiving game, but he can also handle the workload. Despite being a smaller guy, him and McCaffrey reside at around 5'11", 200 pounds, but they will handle the workload and they will, touch the ball 20 plus times a game. And just like McCaffrey, they are both very sure-handed and can easily line up out wide if they wanted to. And I think both players, if Christian McCaffrey wanted to or Odernot wanted to, they can be pretty efficient slot receivers and could be 1,000-yard receivers. As for Odernot, while last year he did not achieve that goal of 1,000, this year he absolutely will. And think when you're looking at just purely the highest upsides in the class, I mean, Odernaut probably has about as high of an upside as anyone, as his ceiling is McCaffrey. I don't know, where else you could really point to as his ceiling, and his, floor is still even just a really, really solid starting running back who can do a little bit of everything. So off the bat, you're getting one of the best players in the class day one, with the potential of getting maybe the best running back in the league. Now you're looking at that and saying, well, how does that translate to a mid-first round pick? And that's, well, just because he's a running back. I mean, he has talent to go in the top 5, and mid-first round is maybe a little pessimistic, as even a guy like Bijan Robinson went top 10 at number 8 overall, so don't be surprised if he goes there. I think Christian McCaffrey also went around that same area, so I think top 10 is very possible for him. But in this day and age, with how heavy teams are looking for quarterbacks and how the board has been shaking out this year, with quarterbacks, offensive linemen really dominating the top of the board, Odernaut could get lost in the shuffle a little bit, as teams just don't value running backs that highly. But he shouldered a lot at Texas, and that's where maybe some concerns come in, because long term, maybe he's not as durable, because Christian McCaffrey, suffered a lot of injuries. He's just too talented for his own good sometimes, with how he messes up his ankle a little bit with all of his cuts and everything. So he's going to have to learn how to maybe make himself a little safer, like McCaffrey did in, San Francisco, as in Carolina. He just couldn't stop getting hurt, but there's a lot of wear and tear, as he, last year touched the ball over 300 times. He's going to touch the ball even more this year. And wherever he goes in the NFL, they're probably going to ask him to touch the ball that many times, because he is a focal point of an offense. And I think that maybe that's where another negative that he didn't put down kind of comes in for some, is he's not a guy maybe you want to be a complimentary piece. He is the whole show. And that's where he's always been in his career. He's been the whole show. He has been the whole offense. He is the attraction. He is the star. He's never really had to take a backseat, Texas is going to have a quarterback drafted pretty high in Joakim Bradley, but it was Renza's team. And that offensive line, over the past couple of years has been great, but it was Renza's team. And in high school, it was Renza's team. Wherever he goes to the NFL, he's maybe going to walk in and expect it to be his team, but will he be able to do that in the NFL? We'll see. But I think he's a really dynamic, explosive, incredibly fun player with a crazy highlight tape. One of the better running backs in recent college football history. It's going to absolutely be at least top 15 pick. But we'll see if he goes higher, and it's going to be really interesting to see what team lands Renza Odernaut and the potential Heisman winner, Renza Odernaut. So those are the draft story players that we do have, and that will wrap that up for the season. We do have another college football update to kind of, take a look at what happened in bowl season and the Heisman winner. But as we look at the playoff picture, we currently find ourselves on the outside looking in right now, unfortunately. And in the next episode, we do have a big time game, because once again, the division is hanging in the balance, as the Chiefs, coming off a bye week, still sitting at 9 wins. The division's there for the taking, and the Broncos want it. The Broncos have been getting hot as of late, and we will be traveling to Denver, trying to pick up a victory, as this was a rough one today. So we'll see if we could get back on track as we take on the Denver Broncos next episode. I will see you all in the next one.